This is the PolarDB cluster dashboard. I have created the cluster already. After completion of cluster creation, the status should be in running status. And now we need to create a database account. For that, you need to go inside the cluster ID. In the side navbar, you will see the accounts. Here you need to do the database account setup. Here you need to provide the database account. I will give a simple name as PolarDB. PolarDB. You need to set the password. Click OK. It will take 1 to 2 minutes for the creation. Yes, our account is created and activated. Next, you need to set up the database name. For that, you need to select databases. And to click create database. Here you need to give the database name. Then based on your character set, you need to choose this. Click OK. Database name also created. Next, you need to log in into your database. For logging into the database for our database, you need to click SQL console. You need to select the instance here. If instance was not available here, what you have to do means, you need to go to the SQL console. You need to close it. So actually what happened means already one of my databases logged in. That's why I cannot able to log into the new database. I will log out from it now. I will log off it. So my uh, here you need to provide your database account. I have logged out from that account. Yes, now our account name is visible here. You need to choose this and confirm. This is the database which we have created now, that is PolarDB. Here next you need to choose the schema. Here you will see lot of schemas, but you need to choose the schema name which your database name is starting first. You should not choose this performance schema or information schema. You cannot able to create the tables there, so you have to choose this. It is for managing the tables. So as of now there are no tables present, so I am going to import the data which I have created before. For that I need to choose the data import. Here I need to select that schema. For us that is PolarDB. Here it is. For import mode I will give speed import. For file type I am importing the SQL file. If you want to import CSV or Excel, you can upload it here. It itself will convert that CSV file into tables and it will import in our database. So I will attach the file. Then I will submit it. Yes, our tables are inserted. You can see the live execution logs. If any error happens, the table cannot able to insert, it will print here. So if we refresh on our database, you will see the tables created. Next what we are going to do means we are going to connect the application and the PolarDB. For that first you need to go to PolarDB console. Here in the overview part, you need to add a public endpoint, because this acts as a server name for the project, for the application. So you need to click apply here. Here you need to provide a name. I will give the same database name. It will take less than a second to get reflected. Yes, the public endpoint is created. So now what you have to do means you need to go to your application. In the config file you need to update the server name, username, password and DB. So I will update the server name. Server name is this public endpoint. I will copy this and I will paste it here. I need to paste it here as well. So you need to give the username. Username I have given there is PolarDB. The DB name also I have given that only. Next I need to add the whitelist. Whitelist is what means if you are running your application in any server or anywhere, you need to add that IP address here. I am going to run my application now in localhost, so I need to add IP. For localhost, the IP address is 0.0.0.0/0. If we did not add this whitelist, our application will not able to connect to PolarDB. Based on this whitelist only, the PolarDB interacts with our application. Now I will try to run my application. We can try inserting any fields. I will add the username as PolarDB. Yes, our data saved successfully. Now if you search in the SQL console, you can able to view that record. You can check whether it is updated. We can check with a name. I have given there PolarDB. Yes, the record is displayed. So our application is interacting with the PolarDB. Next we are going to host our application in simple application server. For hosting our application, we need an application server plus domain name. I already purchased the domain name. For purchasing the domain name, you need to go to Alibaba Cloud Console and you need to search for domain. These are all the domain I have purchased earlier. So if you want to purchase new domain, you need to click purchase. Here you need to type the name whichever you wish. Here you need to search. If you want com, you can select add to cart. This is the cart option. If you click here, you can see your domain is added to the cart. You need to click here and you select buy now. You need to add your details and you need to accept. Then you need to place the order. I have already created, so I'm not going to create now. A simple application server also I have already purchased, so I will tell you how to purchase it. Here in the simple server application console, you need to click create server. First you need to choose your region. Next you need to choose the image. Then the instance plan. Then the subscription time. And you need to buy it. It's very simple. This is the server I'm going to deploy the application. First you need to go to the server. They have mentioned 4 points. You need to follow this 4 points to deploy your application. So we have purchased already. So next you need to configure the site. We need to add the domain name here. For that you need to click bind domain name. I will add this domain name there. After adding the domain name, you need to configure the firewall. For configuring the firewall, you click deploy the application. Here you need to click set now. Here they have mentioned to configure these 3 ports in the firewall. So we need to go to the firewall and you need to add rule. First you need to add port 880. Then you need to add 8443 and 447. That's it. Then what they have mentioned is reset the password of the server and restart the server. So we need to go to the overview. So here you will see the reset password button. So you need to click here. You need to add the password here. After adding the password, it itself will shows shall I restart. Click OK. You can see here it will show restarting. Now you need to log on to the simple application server console. For that you need to click this URL. So sometimes if this happen, you need to off the maintenance mode. For that you need to connect to the SSH. Here you see, from here only you can able to connect to the SSH. Here you need to here you need to connect to the Linux server. We need to you need to enter the password which we have set just now. Here you need to connect to SSH. For that you need to add SSH root at this URL. You need to provide the password here as well. You have logged into your console. After that you need to off the maintenance. Sorry, there is some connectivity issue. First you need to go to this path. From here you will see the maintenance file. You need to open that file. You will see here the maintenance is on. You need to off it. So now if you check whether the maintenance is off or not, it's on. I guess our editing has failed. Yes, now maintenance is off. So next you need to run this both command. You need to remove the status.json file. Next you need to restart your server. I will provide these queries in the description. You can check it. So now if you refresh, you can see the Plesk login. Here you need to provide the username and password. Here you need to add a new password. After that, when you are logging the Plesk, you need to give this name as a username, and password you need to update the password. It will take 1 to 3 minutes to initialize the Plesk. After that, here also you need to add the same domain which you have added in the server. Here you need to add the domain name. You need to add the username and you need to set up the password. Okay, both account is also already exist, then we can give that our database account name itself. After setup, you need to import the files here. For that you need to click files. Here inside the HTTP docs folder, you need to remove all the files. You need to add the username and you need to set up the password. You need to add the username and you need to set up the password. You need to remove all the files. 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 You need to remove You need to import our application files. Our application is gtrade.zip, so we need to upload the file here. Here you need to upload the zip file here. You need to unzip the file. For that you need to select that file and you need to click extract files. Then you need to open the folder and copy every files and move to the http docs folder, the main folder. Now what you have to do means you need to add this, we have updated a new domain name, so you need to add the white list in the PolarDB. For that you need to go to PolarDB console. Before that you need to know the IP address of your domain name. For that you need to go to ns lookup. You need to find your IP address. This is your IP address. You need to add here. The name I am providing is simple application. The whitelist got added. Next you need to go to the URL. Yes, that application got deployed. You can check inserting. Yeah, we have just added the zip file which I have zipped previously, so the credential will be wrong. So I need to open the config sheet. I need to copy this code. Now it should work. Yes, it is working. So now we can try to insert. In username I am giving simple application server. Mobile name I am giving is the data saved successfully. Now we can check our SQL console whether it is imported the database. So if you search with the name, you can see the details of the record. So our application is interacting with the PolarDB. Next, I would like to add some special features of PolarDB. Here, if you see in the sidebar, you will see the X engine. So, what is meant by X engine is actually if you are building any e-commerce application, the lot of inactive users will be there, or for social media application, there will be lot of old messages or inactive users will be there. So these data with the new data are mixed and it will lead to disk spaceful issue. So for that, PolarDB has introduced an X engine. So the data are not destroyed. The data are stored as code and archived in X engine. If you enable the data, every data from the main database will be stored here. Anytime you can retrieve that data. Next is the log management. Here, whichever the operation we are processing in the database, it will be shown here. Based on the date, time, we can see our logs. Next is a slow SQL query. Here you will get the status, how much SQL queries are passed and how much SQL queries are failed. In the console, if I put any wrong query, it will be notified here. You can see according to the date, time and hour, or even with the month. Next is the PolarDB for AI. From the database you can do AI operation as well, like analysis, prediction, or any machine learning operation. You can do it from the PolarDB itself. For that also PolarDB is offering a feature. Here it is visible that PolarDB for AI. If you enable it and if you create an account for AI in the same cluster, you can do any operation you need. That's all I have. If you have any queries, you can just post it in the comment section. Thank you.